Helicopter approaching, helicopter approaching. So I'm about to enter onto the 101 ramp to get on the freeway, and here we got shaping up for a direct overhead. Here he comes for a direct overhead. Direct overhead, repositioned himself for a direct overhead. Woo! Summertime heat is here. So, we enter into a whole new phase of pain and suffering as a homeless man on the streets of his nasty hometown of corrupt, seething with demonic influence, Babylon. Blah, blah, blah. And there's a demonic haze over the sky today, lending itself to dark tidings. Okay, so now, as you guys have been hearing me talk about my encounter with these angels, 3 in total, you may be wondering why I was so impressed. Because, and I've told you this before, but I really haven't detailed it, and I can't show anything that will reveal any specifics, but I can show a little bit with my word that this is real, I'm telling the truth, this isn't some BS where I've been fooled and I don't know what I'm talking about, and I'm just being overly hopeful in some kind of cool miracle, because who isn't looking for some kind of cool miracle, right? I mean, well, actually, believe it or not, there's a lot of people. I can't believe it, but in any case, there you go. But this is real, man. This is incredible what happened to me. And so, an angel, a heavenly power, made people. Okay? Now, this angel made a total of 2 living people that were individuals that I spoke with personally, okay? One of them perished because another of the 3 angels, terminated that creation because of an error that was made of some kind. And I can't talk about the specifics about that, but it was a real living person that I actually helped to save that person's life. In fact, I saved, believe it or not, I saved at least 2 people's lives, maybe 3, in the course of all this, due to my finding out what had happened, and then I contacted people, and those people helped those people, and so forth and so forth, and so I know it happened. It was just amazing. It was an amazing adventure that I experienced virtually over the phone and over email, but it was real. And not only that, I felt it, as I said. I was connected to one of these angels, and when they got hurt, I got hurt, kind of like in the anime. I forget, Mahime, and where the guy, like a king, gets an angel, but if the angel dies, he dies. So, and if the angel gets hurt, he gets hurt. So it was kind of like that, but I didn't ask for this. I didn't ask for this, but I sure got it. And when I didn't know what was happening, I got hospitalized, as I said. Now, this angel made 2 living persons. Like I said, one of them was terminated. The other one is still alive, but I haven't heard from that one in a while. So I don't know, I think that they're still there, but I think that they're having some issues, maybe, I don't know. But they were not quite a normal person. In fact, one time they disappeared out of the back seat of a car and freaked out the person who was driving. And I tried to explain. I tried to give him a mundane explanation, like she got bored with your boring conversation and bailed out the back when you were at a stoplight. But in fact, this creation reappeared in another location. Okay, so created 2 people, and then created about 4 different dolls that had various purposes. Some were to absorb some of the injuries that this angel was trying to absorb from an accident that had occurred. And then another doll was created so as to be a decoy from some people that were trying to kill that angel that was a person, and cause some problems for our friends. And so and then to top that off, this angel could take pictures out of their eyes and send it to me in an email, and they were always black and white. There was no color of these eye photos, you might say, eye photographs. And also, this angel got a vision, apparently from God, or maybe some kind of like a message, to go check out this giant sea monster. And I'm going to show pictures of that, which you may, looking at this, you may think it looks like a humpback whale, but I'm going to kind of point out some features here. And you'll notice it's a little bit grainy, a little bit rough, because you can see here the side walls of the ice of this like ice cleft, like that's the beginning of the continent or whatever, or the ice shelf. It looks kind of weird, like it doesn't. You can't really see the features of it. The closest thing you can see the features of are the face. Maybe it's because it's out of focus in her eye, in her eyes. That's why it looks kind of weird. But it also looks kind of like the texture looks weird. Like it doesn't look like an ice shelf. But I mean, I know the integrity of this person is not some kind of trying to put me on or anything like that. Because and okay, get this. Now this is the words of this angel. They said it was at least 10 kilometers long. Okay, it was that big, and so 10 kilometers long. And in this other area of the photo, you can see the tail of it, and the tail looks kind of like alligator spikes on it. And so that's kind of how you can see a difference in what this is, because you look at it in one shot, it almost kind of looks like a humpback whale, but if you look closely and then you compare a shot of a whale, it's not that, you can see, but it kind of looks like that. But she said it was like this giant serpent, like a snake, at least 10 kilometers long, if not longer. That's what she said. That's what this angel said. So I thought that was kind of interesting. I thought I'd share that with you guys. And these, I admit that these eye photos here are, they're not that great. I wish there was something more clear to compare it to. But this angel also encountered in another like worm or serpent type being that wasn't nearly as big, but they were describing that to me as well. So pretty interesting. So the other thing I wanted to mention that I thought was noteworthy, and I hate to go by any of these predictions that you hear, oh, Planet X is coming on this date, this is coming on that date, it's all hooey. But now and again I'll hear something that kind of sounds like it might be worth mentioning, and that is, I heard that that the Chinese embassy is calling back some of its people, and they are not extending visas to Americans, and it's a sign that they're getting ready for a possible war. And now I saw this on Brighteon, and this doctor something or other, I forget his name, but he's doing an interview with the founder of Brighteon, Mike Adams, and it was it's about a 40-minute interview, something like that, and it was pretty interesting. I mean, the stuff that he brings up, the fact that and also the Russians too seem to be doing something like that. I forget the details, but like they're kind of like they're not extending visas for Americans or something like that, and they don't want once a war breaks out, they don't want to have to worry about a bunch of Americans or something like that. And check the details, like I said. But now as far as prepping goes, of course, that's a good idea. I mean, in any case, given the kind of world we live in, whether there was a war coming or not, it's good to prep. I really don't do a whole lot because I really don't even have any extra money. As in my situation, I'm like just barely surviving. But it's funny, this chick with naked legs in the back of this guy's bike. But in any case, so I just want to keep that in mind. I mean, the best prepping that I say to do, if you're in America, is get out of America, because the scripture is clear. Jeremiah 50:51, Isaiah 13 and 14. The signs are going to be there at a certain point in which all the people in America are going to realize that it's over. They're going to, something's going to happen. They're going to figure it out or whatever, because what it says is, let us flee all back to our own countries, because America is made up of all these different people, and so they're all going to go, the Indians back to India, the Mexicans back to Mexico, the Chinese back to China, that kind of thing. It might start to happen a lot, and of course a lot of people that are not going to leave, but it says everyone that was left will be thrust through. That means thrust through with a sword, in case you missed that. And it says that it's going to be a coalition, according to Scripture, as my research finds, and what the Scripture says, it's a coalition of the Iranians, the Turks, and the Germans. I think, yeah, the Iranians, the Turks, and the Germans. But that doesn't make sense to me. I mean, it makes more sense that it would be Russia and China. But the Scripture does say dry up the river Euphrates or whatever to make way for the kings of the east at a certain point. So chances are, Asia is going to be involved. But yeah, so I mean, and again, the question, why don't I bail? Because my destiny is linked with Jerusalem. Where Jerusalem goes, I go, and my understanding is that she's here in Babylon, and so that's where I've got to stay until we are redeemed, until and the elected and God's people will know when the time is to let, and we it soon can't be soon enough. I mean, it's we're happy to get the F out of here. I mean, very happy, but for now we're prisoners, and so just because I heard that little thing doesn't mean anything's going to happen anytime right away, because they were talking about like June 15th, June 20th is when they are closing up the visas or whatever, or something like that. So it's sometime shortly after that, if what this guy was saying was right. This doctor something or other talking to Mike Adams, the health ranger, at his site Brighteon.com, which is pretty good. In case you guys want to upload videos there, it's there's some pretty decent stuff to be found there, for the hard truthers. Mike is most of his movies I really don't like to watch, because he doesn't show his face, and he's just talking, and it's like a blank screen, and it's not that, but he just he these videos are like an hour long to get to, the interesting stuff, and it's kind of hard for me to. I'm really not as engaged with that, but he should make shorter videos. I should talk because I make really long videos, but I have an excuse because I'm making like a documentary, a study, and a lot of times breaking it up doesn't work, or it doesn't work as well because you want to include the thought in the same thing. And if people want to learn out of the scripture, they're going to pay attention. If you can watch a 2-hour movie, you can watch a 45-minute movie that's a discussion on the scripture. Yeah. So if you haven't heard that before, check out Jeremiah 50:51 and Isaiah 13 and 14. This is talking about the United States of America. Do not be fooled. Anybody who thinks that it's the Vatican, the 7 little hills in Vatican, is a fool. He's not reading carefully. That's not a nation, and it's not the hindermost of the nations, and it's not the hammer of the whole earth, and it's not the praise of the whole earth. It's not. And their waters aren't being dried up the way California's waters are being dried up. God's drought is upon her waters, Babylon's waters. Los Angeles, California. I think it's like the whole state of California is basically Babylon, the city. It's like one giant city comprised of these various cities: San Diego, San Francisco, up all that area, even maybe further up. I don't know, but that's my take on it. But it's all very intangible, and anybody's opinion could be right. It's hard to say. There are some more tangible things, but I believe it's Los Angeles. Who knows? It may find out I was wrong. It really was New York, but I don't think so. I think it was Los Angeles. And when it says Babylon, it's also the city and the nation, as I described in my studies. Which, by the way, I have part 5 coming up. Actually, I haven't even published part 4, so I'm going to publish part 4. But that's just a follow-up, basically a 10-12 minute follow-up that completes my thoughts about the possible truth leaks in the movie Prince of Darkness, and then I'm going to go on to Chris White's study on Mystery Babylon, in which his theory is that the mystery of Mystery Babylon is actually that it's a code for Jerusalem because of these matching elements, which he does not make a nothing argument. However, I think if you're paying close attention and you know more about what Jerusalem is, for instance, he doesn't know Jerusalem as a person, he doesn't know Babylon as a person, a woman that God assigns, like a woman who is a city, who is a nation, and a spirit in the people. So it's like a multi-part thing that's fascinating, and it's a woman for some reason. You kind of think it would be a man, but it's not. It's actually a woman, and the scripture, in my opinion, very clearly tells us that since the daughter of Jerusalem is a woman, we can assume that code phrase, daughter of Babylon, is a woman, even though there's less evidence, but there is some evidence. I won't meet thee as a man, and several other things that tells us that it is also a woman, the same as Jerusalem.